pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to read the June 11, 2026 Board of the Henry County Board of Supervisors. First item of business been taken care of with Pledge of Allegiance. Second item would be a roll call of members and secretary invitation.
White.
Here.
Dietrich.
Here.
Lindy. Here. And Henry Kenyon here. Bob Dietrich.
Okay. And under the consent agenda, that would include the board minutes. I understand and realize here that last week's meeting at the emergency board or emergency management, I did not call on you to give a opportunity to speak. I apologize for
That's
that.
fine. Different setting, different location.
Yep.
Feel thrown off. I get it.
Approval of financial claims and payment there, so. Under number 4, new business, public hearing, fiscal year 2026 budget amendment and certification.
Mr. Chair, are you gonna approve it, the minutes or the financial payments?
Yes,
Anything?
yep. So,
Okay.
would there be a motion to approve and go with the consent agenda items?
So moved.
Would there be a second?
I'll second.
Roll call vote on that.
White,
Here.
Dietrich,
Yes.
Lindy.
Yes.
Yes. So. Then the public hearing.
Make a motion to go into public hearing.
A motion made to go into public hearing. Would there be a second?
There is a second.
There is a second, go into public hearing. Open that for discussion. Roll call vote to go into public hearing?
White,
Yes.
Dietrich,
Yes.
Lindy.
Yes.
Open that for discussion.
I pulled that up so everybody can at least see where we're at when we're talking about the budget. I think the items that we're really discussing are probably down here where we talk about the adjustment itself. It's $187,360, right?
Exactly.
So I think we have this sheet as well, so it talks about the various service areas and where those
Were they there?
increased costs come into. I have a couple of questions, Chad or Mark, I don't know if you wanna say anything, but I have a few questions in reference to where the holidays.
Well, I know we have discussions scheduled with conservation. So does that's kind of getting the cart in front of the.
Well, if we can have the discussion, I think I'm not prepared to sign the resolution, to your point, but we can have the discussion. I think the conversation goes back to looking at where conservation is. Conservation is proposing an increase of $81,000 roughly, which I don't think we have any details on. At least I've asked for details, and that's why Caleb was gonna come in and visit with us with his chairperson. So without those details, there's some significant increases in their budget at $81,000. So that one concerns me. And then I had another one, and Robin described this a little bit in detail, and I've got some backup data here, but Paul Roof and Associates, I talked to Paul, his budget is about $1,500 a month. If you put all of the extra essentials in there that he does for driver's license checks and those things, it probably averages $1,700 a month. But there are several things that are categorized here that Mark and I talked about that really don't fall under.
They've always been pulled out of that line account. It's like 2 or 3 other items that have been pulled out of that account.
Yeah, like Karosh, which is
Yeah, which
almost
is-
$10,000.
Which is, you guys approved that.
Well, we approved the expense because it says Karosh compliance. I mean, it's very specific. that when you come to the, whatever this category is,
It's our training throughout the county.
that's a totally different,
That's what they're called when you pay them.
no, I understand, but that very specifically says Paul grew $5,300.
It does, it does, but that's mainly his. That's what he gets paid out of. So what happened was,
So $20,000 goes to him. So there's another $30,000 there.
and you have the detail right there.
I do.
I'm telling you that what's been paid out in the past, and it's Department
Understand.
99,
Just saying, the numbers are not consistent there. Mark, you're more familiar with that than I am.
they're not
So-
consistent because then the invoices are not consistent as well.
Well, the invoices for Paul Groove and Associates are averaging about $1,700 a month.
The service area we're talking about has an adjustment of $50,300.
Mhm.
And there's multiple items under it, and it's listed as Paul Group, we're taking that as the number one, which is not as we've had in the past. They always take the first thing, usually when they print off something, and not everybody else for
Right.
sake. So that's more than Paul Group, so it's the total of the whole service area that we're working on.
Okay, and Rob is correct, she pulled all those, so we can take a look at it. For 2026 through the end of October, we're at $41,857. Last year, we were at 44,000, the year before, 43,800. You guys have seen that, I think, but I'm not quite sure. I understand what you're saying, I'm just not sure where the other money's going to when you say service areas. I understand it says service area 10, but
It explains it on your service, like,
Chad, excuse me, yeah. Chad, do you know what service area 10 is?
I do not, right off the get-go.
I do not either. First time I've ever seen it was when this report came out. I know what budgets are, I know what account numbers are, I know what departments are. I've never seen a service area before. And you and I had this conversation.
you also have the, actual expense summary that I also gave you guys
Mhm.
to look it over, and you can see where those services are being paid out of. I've always been trained that I show everything, just to let you know what I'm doing, to be transparent on what we're doing.
Well, I can certainly agree with transparency. That's where I'm a little
Yeah,
concerned.
me too.
As I mentioned to Steve, I said I learned the first year of my year as supervisor what a service area was, because the attorney's office and the sheriff's office are the same service area.
Safety.
And so, one time in the service area, one department needed some extra money, so the other department took money from them. And that's how that works. And this is a service area where, there's multiple, fund, or different claims comes out of it, and, as I stated, Paul Group is the number one listed, and then the others are thereafter, so it's, are you having a problem that the 50,300 is not adding up?
Let me tell you what happened is though,
Partially, yes.
if you look right there, it says budgeted amount.
Mhm.
That's always had money in it. And this is another reason why we were talking about changing to another service for our, like payroll and our financials, because we still have that same company that we're having a problem with. That is listed as zero, and it should not be listed as zero. It should be listed for the amount that we have paid in the past. Nothing was budgeted in that department.
So it should have been
line.
$44,714, or
Somewhere around there.
41,857 instead of zero. That's where my concern is. It says zero.
I get it, I'm just telling you, it says zero that it was budgeted.
That's a good explanation. I
And
understand
so now, that's at $50,300
Right.
that we've paid always here
To a
in
variety.
this,
Understand. Okay.
and that's why it says 50,300.
Okay.
So
Where
we
is it?
have
Does it
to
say
be
zero?
accountable for that action. I don't even know how else,
No, I understand it now because it said zero. I mean,
It's-
obviously it's not just Paul Roof, but it comes to the service area. But when you go from zero to 50,300, all of a sudden it's just like, wow.
it's because it's
That's a
always been
jump.
paid out of this account in the past. But it said in your budget packet of last year, it said 0. And I said, why is that 0? Because we've always paid them out of that. So something, somehow, changed this amount to 0 in our system with Solutions.
That makes more sense to me, you understand somewhat?
My position as a supervisor, I am not an accountant, I am not an auditor. I have to rely on those people to give me the accurate information.
And you've come up to my office and asked me those questions as well. And I showed you.
And, you know, to determine something is above my capability. I'm not gonna try to snowball anybody or anything like that.
So realistically, Chad, I think in that number where it says 0, it should say $41,857.
And since we are not done with this fiscal year, it has been kind of buffed, so it doesn't show that, like, what if we're $10,000 negative? What if something else comes up with Paul? What if he has to do another background check? It's still in the fiscal year of 26.
Understand.
So that's why it's 50,300. So I divided by the months of what we've used in this fiscal year, and then pertaining to what we have left, we don't wanna go negative.
And it's my understanding, and what I've read here and did my quick calculations the other day, from the amount of revenue that we're receiving extra versus the extra amount of expenditure, we're
Yes.
still $35,566 to the good.
Mm-hmm.
So we're actually positive and not negative as trying to be, we always say budget amendment. The budget amendment, you always look at saying, oh, it's all expenditures, no,
Right.
it's also revenue. So we're actually to the positive here.
Right.
So how does that not reflect right here when we see excess of revenues and other sources over, under? It says a negative $350,553. How does that?
It just says total, budget after current amendment.
Well, I
Adjustment,
understand.
sorry.
Yeah, I understand, but.
And if you look at the very bottom,
Mhm.
these are state forms. This is how I plug in the numbers that I get from Solutions and I send it to the state. I have to plug it into the state because it looks just like this one.
Sure.
The only thing that is different is I added at the top for the intergovernmental, right there. That means that those are revenues,
Mm-hmm.
which shows that on your spreadsheet that I've
Well,
sent
that's
you.
all
The
revenues right
300,
there.
yeah, but I'm telling you, those are grants up there, the intergovernmental, line 8.
Okay.
And then we just got another one from Public Health, they thought they were gonna get it next year, which is I contact every department to see what type of grants that they have.
Uh-huh.
And then they tell me, but they thought this last one was gonna be in the fiscal year of 27, so it didn't add it on there, but they got it too.
Okay, so are you telling me that this number is incorrect? That we're
Well,
in the
that
negative
number is-
$357,000, because Mark just said we're in the positive by
Well,
35,000
if I'm taking this sheet
for this sheet?
Yeah.
Okay, but
versus what our,
this
what it
is
shows our
composite,
total revenues
right?
were.
So, but then you take that number and that middle number, and you divide it out, or subtract it, that gives you that number. So. It's telling you the current amendment.
This is a public hearing, so if anybody has any comments, feel free.
I have a comment for the supervisors. Just on behalf of the sheriff's office, we did ask for a budget amendment. Our overall budget was nearly 10% under budget. However, our general patrol services was over and our jail was under. So we asked Robin's office to transfer money from one account to another of $175,000. We didn't ask for any additional monies at all. We just simply moved money from the jail
Adjusted.
categories to the patrol categories.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
That's all I had. Thank you.
I have a couple of questions. So, I'm trying to understand the 0 versus the 50,000 still.
Okay.
So why was nothing budgeted in that
So it's already set in our system, it's numbers. You have 3 columns that you have to set up, and those only go by numbers. So somehow or another, that turned to a 0 after we went ahead and certified it. I don't know if it was in the system or whatever. I can't explain what like an IT form of what's happening with our solutions.
Okay.
But the number should have actually been 41,857.
It should have been like, I think it was like 44,000 is what it's been budgeted in the past.
Okay.
For some reason, it was zeroed out. But we still have to do something about it. I
Okay.
can't explain it to you.
Okay,
no,
so
no.
it was just a technical
it's
kind of
just-
thing. Okay, okay.
And that's the reason why I put on the spreadsheet to the Board of Supervisors that it was budgeted amount. Because I went back and I seen it, I said, why is there a 0 there? And it should always have money in it,
Okay.
okay?
The other question then, I guess I also have is what are you talking about with the 35,000?
I'm taking what Robin just shows, and, we have an adjustment of $187,360.
Right.
And then going off of this sheet that was published, and it has, $222,926 of revenue adjustment.
And then you subtract that from the
Subtract that from it.
187,360 will give you
Where's-
that total amount.
Where's the 222?
It's, are you on this?
Oh, on the front of it?
Yeah, flip it over.
At the very back.
On the back. Flip it
Oh.
over.
Right there at the bottom.
Okay, and it's on the,
Oh, in there.
explanation of changes, the additional revenues.
Mm-hmm.
You had, in the second line, this
Miscellaneous.
miscellaneous totals up to $222,926.
So that's not on the front? That's not on
It's
here?
in there.
Oh, okay.
It's in there, it's just it's the state, so they group them together.
Oh, okay. So all of those explanation of changes add up to the 752?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
All of those add up to that number?
If you add up from half
To that,
of,
yeah.
those are revenues.
Right, yep, understand.
So
And then
here,
down below
Yeah.
gives you the amount at June 30th of 2028, or 2026, I'm sorry, is saying that that's what should be left over. Again, this is a projection, because we're not done with the fiscal year.
Okay.
And so, I know that public health got another grant that should have been reported on here, but they thought they were gonna get it in fiscal year 27.
so
So
the,
since they received it in fiscal year 26, we'll still have to report that.
so our certified budget, we were actually in the red by 922. With the amendments, we're in the red by 357. That line that's the,
Jake can answer that, because he answered
The minus?
it for me.
I think this is coming back again to ending balances. So if you scroll down at the bottom, it says the total ending fund balance. I think that's the number I would really focus on, because that negative number up above is, again, the road department will have money that carries over from one fiscal year to the other, and that balance is there. So we were a higher negative before, and we could end up having a larger reserve this year. We just received reimbursement back from our bridge project last week, which is before this all got submitted. And we didn't know what fiscal year that is. So that number, again, my carryover balance from
Right.
year to year fluctuates depending on when we spend money. I think the focus really, the way, at least in the road department budget, I really focus on ending balance. But you are correct that we are spending more expenses than what the revenue is coming in for the current fiscal year. But we had a carryover balance out of road. So those are protected dollars, so they don't affect other entities as far as what they can see. I just don't know how you break that out clearly.
so then can that be kind of deceiving if you get like, you maybe, were the public health dollars spent in the 26, but they were planning on the grant in 27, but now it comes in 26?
Yes, so that's the thing.
So okay.
So if they know that money's coming in, they, like he said, you're spending it before it gets here.
Right, okay. That makes sense.
Emergency management was kind of in the same boat because our EMPG with the federal government being shut down, we haven't received that grant yet, which is another between 20 and 25,000 that we're already spending. And it may come here tomorrow, it may come here in June, I guess this is June, isn't it?
At the end of
Whenever it
June.
gets-
End of June, or it may be next fiscal
And
year
we're
that it
just-
gets here,
we
but
don't
we'll
know about
get,
it.
we're receiving that money. It's just that we're, with the federal government being shut down, we're waiting in a whole, nothing we can do about it.
Right.
It's federal government, so.
Exactly.
Any other questions or concerns? Still in public hearings.
Bob does.
So in other words, if you get a grant and it comes in late, it's gonna affect your balances. If it comes in early, it's gonna affect your
There's a
balance.
reason why we do a accrual too. And
Right.
that goes over a 13-month period. And the
Right.
state auditors help me with that. Yeah.
That's the only salvation you
And
got.
it could come back and just put it in. Again, this is just a projection of what we see right now,
Right.
and it's due to the state.
Any further questions? I mean, I don't wanna proceed if there's,
I saw questions on the conservation side of things.
okay, on conservation only.
Melanie has another question.
So, just for everyone's benefit, can you explain, you've explained it to me, but can you explain to everyone else the process of how people or departments go about a budget amendment?
They know when there's budget amendments, and that's the reason why when we have our monthly department head meetings, you know, with everybody, I tell them that when it's due. Even the people that have worked here before, they'll contact me. They know what the process is. They know when I need it. And a lot of times if I haven't heard from them and I'm looking through their expense summary and I see negatives, I'll call them and see if we should do an adjustment somewhere of where the other money is sitting at in their department. And that's how the process works. We've always done it that way. I've been trained to do it that way, and we normally start this in April.
Okay, so then for the benefit of the supervisors, how is that presented to them? Or like you're gonna meet with conservation, so you don't really get a breakdown, or you do get a breakdown, or you?
Breakdown.
I would say that the breakdown is very large and general. It's not detailed. So, perfect example. The shelter and feed costs went up by 130%. You know, I understand it went up 130%, but I don't know what the detail is. You have more animals, did the feed go bad? I don't know why. Why would it go up 130%? That's a fairly significant number. You go from $8,000 to $19,000. I think the point is, and I very specifically asked for this on May 7th, is if you have a budget amendment, we need details. And those details have not been included, and that's why we're meeting with the conservation folks, so that's the first time we could get squeezed in.
Just wanna drill down a little bit more
Yeah, you know, I understand
detail
saying,
based
yeah,
on where that money's going. what
yeah,
it
the
is.
cost went up, but why did the cost go up? You know, maybe somebody just has to bite the bullet here. But you're asking for $81,000, that's a significant amount of money tied to your budget.
But then it also breaks down what else we're doing that in, because, it's also like, he had an employee that turned into a family, not single coverage. That's also,
Understand.
you know,
But that's pretty well, that's defined. We understand why that costs.
so you're saying conversation-wise, you'd like to sit down and ask them why? That's
Well,
what you're saying for detail,
you
know,
because I gave you your expense report.
Say the feed bill, if the animals were there last year and it cost $4,000 to feed them, why is that significantly more this year?
Yeah.
Were there less private donations that were utilized on
That could have been.
the feed, or just why? I think that is kind of what you're asking, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, detail. We had nixed a couple of those budget items and they came back in the amendment. So, yeah, we definitely need to understand why, who, what, when, and where. We need $81,000.
I'm also kind of curious on conservation, why the software? Did they purchase new software, or?
It was a fee, and they thought it was gonna come in from the last fiscal year, but it ended up coming out this fiscal year. So fiscal year 25, because I called and asked them, and they said it was a one-time fee. And I said, well, is there gonna be another one-time fee, because now it's gonna be June, are you gonna do it again?
Right, because
And he said no.
$12,000 is a lot
I
for
think it was a
software.
part of, was it, Joe, did he have like 911 or GIS or something like that out there, or I don't know what it
We
is.
started using the JS program, but that's
He went from using My Parks, Iowa to.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay,
Another
I knew it was
way to
something
rent.
that was kinda new, but it waited for them to pay for it. You know, they didn't send them an invoice or anything for, I think it was a one-time deal. He told me it was a one-time deal.
Okay.
Do you know anything about that, Gunnar?
Yeah, it has to do with the My Park software. We briefly talked about it. I think that went out through their budget. That's about the extent I know, but just that.
What kind of went through their budget, yeah, because now they're asking a budget.
Yeah.
Amendment,
Yeah.
so, yeah. But I pulled this up, Chad, so this is the note that we've been exchanging back and forth with Caleb, so just, you know, don't wanna throw Caleb under the bus here, but conservation is just a good example here, and I think those are specific requests. I don't know how much more specific I need to be to ask for input here to be able to give us some definition on where those costs and why those costs have increased.
Yeah.
But to my point, because on May 7th, right after that, somebody in the department head meeting, two people actually came up to me and said, hey, were you talking to me specifically when you said you want more detail and data? And it's like, no, not necessarily, but the point is, if you want a budget increase, you should be able to supply us with the facts to explain why you think you need that increase. And to Robin's point, we understand the whole insurance thing. You get married, you go to a family, that's kind of
Because it was
self-explanatory.
budgeted as single for that
Yeah.
one person.
But that's self-explanatory, we can understand that. The rest of that is extremely difficult. So again, details do make the difference.
Would it proceed or move forward? Are all the other questions, other than conservation related, extinguished or taken care of?
I wanted to clarify. So that's the IT phones, that increase for 1853, is that out of conservation's budget?
Yes. They have their own, they've always had.
Oh, right, yeah, they're
So,
under, yep, I forgot.
And again, let me explain this to you. It is the fiscal year of 26 budget.
Mhm.
These are amendments to the fiscal year 26 budget. So we have to go back to those line items that have negatives.
Yeah.
To help out that
The reason
budget,
I
that's
asked
why.
is I forgot that they had their own phone plan with T-Mobile. I saw my name tagged on there and I didn't know if that was specific to me or I forgot what that was for. But, no, that makes sense.
It's a great opportunity for you to come up with some solutions though.
Mhm.
I bet you can. So to answer your question, we're still in public hearing, so I don't know if there's anything else, but I'm not comfortable signing a resolution at this point. So if you wanna continue that, we can. But we can also go out of public hearing if you want to, it's up to you.
Mark, do you have any guidance, direction, questions,
No,
comments?
I'm fine, thank you.
If, I want you to be very comfortable with anything that you sign, I think that, so if we need to postpone it and get further explanations, I think that's within our realm. How does that affect?
It affects it completely, because there's a deadline on these too.
And
I understand, however, it goes back to the process.
When's the deadline, Rod?
Well, we can't set another meeting. I mean, you have
We
10
don't-
days.
No.
We don't have to have another meeting.
But far as many, if they feel comfortable after the 11 o'clock or whatever time today.
Or are you guys gonna take it from this resolution, because this resolution is, stating which is on the agenda, stating these are the amounts that you guys approved on the budget. This is what is the problem here. So like if, let's say my office, I'm doing 35,000 because we've had extended amount of elections, which is fine. But we didn't budget for that because it's unexpected. So, would you take the $35,000 for the amount that you guys are gonna give me in this
No, the only one that's in question for me is
I'm
conservation.
making this as an example,
I
and
understand, but
but this is the resolution that you would have to sign. This is different.
doesn't that number tie into that?
This is 27.
I understand. Beginnings and ends.
Let's postpone until after the discussion with conservation, and then we can look at that again.
I'm comfortable with that.
Does that work with you, Mark?
I'm fine, Tom.
Steve?
Yes. We'll just continue that.
Well,
And
we have to go to public hearing, though.
We do have to go out of public hearing
Yeah.
when we're done. Yeah.
but, you know, we're planning on meeting with conservation so that can hopefully be addressed and taken care of, so. Alright. Any further public hearing business right now? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to leave public hearing.
I make a motion to go out of public hearing.
Should there be a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor of leaving public hearing? Roll call vote, Robin?
White,
Yes,
Dietrich,
Yes.
Lundin.
Yes.
okay, we are out of public hearing. Item number B under new business. Secondary roads weekly update, Mr. Hodgkiss.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So pretty light day for us. I have two permits. The first one's a sanitary sewer outlet. Jared's going to look at it, so if we have any modifications, he will make that. But I thought since I was up here today, I'd have you guys approve it. So he has not signed it yet, but he's gonna be looking at that one, so it kinda came in. It's on Quincy Avenue, so if there's any issues, then we'll hold the permit at that point. And then the other one is for self-applied dust control, that came in as well. Maintenance update, with rain, it looks a little lighter, but we are, working on gravel roads, we had moisture. So they're blading off and on, obviously right now would not be a great time, so they're probably pulling off or just messing around with intersections. We are spotting rock as well. We've been hauling resurfacing rock to 190th Street, and spotting various locations throughout the county, so we're starting to, put our trucks out. Seeding, we completed our seeding on 190th Street, that's a 10-car project, I'll talk about that here in a little bit. That was, completed this week. And then mowing, we're still mowing, we're working on gravel roads and continue that process, with, 2 tractors. Miscellaneous and construction update, 235th Street Bridge, contractor continues to work on decking and will be, adding some plates to adjust some beams on the east abutment, east pier. Through the process there, it was determined that they need to make some adjustments on those beams to make the deck grids match right, so we're in the process of working through that. So that is a little bit of a hiccup. I don't see it being a major one at this point, but they are working on their plan to, bring it to us.
Is that still looking like November?
Yes, based on working days, yes. I don't have an updated schedule. Again, once we get the decking all done and we get that deck, then we'll be have a little bit better plan on it. But yes, that's supposed to be done this construction season is the plan.
Is that add normal to add plates?
It can be. I mean, it's essentially it was a case where the beams were, the way they come across there, they were about a tenth of 1500ths difference. So you're not talking a significant amount from our layman terms, but as far as getting the deck and the beams to match up with the grade, it is a significant change. So they're gonna be adding those plates in. It doesn't affect the structure at all. It's just there's already a bearing pad there. They're just increasing the thickness of that pad that we're looking at. So that's just something through the process that we found. Normally we don't, but there's, you know, as far as that's something that's working on in the background and stuff, there is no cost to the county from that perspective as far as the change goes. There is some engineering that we have to verify some things that way, but that's normal construction for us.
So what are those pads made of?
There'll be a galvanized plate that they'll be adding to it, so it's, there's a process to get those plates to be appropriate to use underneath there on the pier, and then the abutment's actually encased in concrete, so it does not have to be a galvanized plate that they put in there, so. There's always adjustments that make there, and ideally you wouldn't have to make the adjustments, but that's just where we're at as far as the construction process goes. 190th Street tank car project, that was completed by our crew last week. So we closed the road, I believe, on Wednesday. And then we had the road back open to traffic on Friday. So actually I had the majority of it backfilled on Thursday. We were doing some cleanup there. We're gonna be doing some more ditching in the area for some other projects, but overall that project went really well. I showed you guys a picture last week of that car being rolled in there. And it is open to traffic right now, functioning, and we're putting it to the test, so, with the rain coming, so we'll keep an eye on it. Iowa Avenue, maintenance forces, we started work on a bank stabilization on Iowa Avenue, in this one north of 260th Street, south of Harvest, I think it's Harvest Lane, right? Can't remember where the city street there is. There we had a dip in the pavement that, has been out there, we've had a sign. We're actually digging down below where the culvert outlets into the stream there, and we're working our way up and restabilizing. We're finding some issues with the soil down there that's, at least there's information that we found, so we're working through that process to get that stabilized with the rock berm. It's very similar soil to what we saw years ago on 310th Street when we had a gravel road slide, and some of the same conditions that we're seeing with the type of soils that we have been blessed with here in Henry County, at the south end of our county, so, or the southern part. So we're working on that. That'll take a while. Obviously, we're not working today with the rain, but they did get some riprap in. We are still working on getting that there, so it'll be a process into next week. Once we get the site stabilized, then we'll work on concrete patching. On Monday next week, we're looking at putting traffic lights up to do one-lane traffic through there, so that we have a little more room to work as we're getting closer to the road as we move up. So we will put a notice out tomorrow was our plan, and that may get delayed a day or two depending on how much rain we get and if we can get in there to do work. So just an update there. And then fuel bid, we set that for June 28th. The bids will be opened at the evening Board of Supervisors meeting. So again, that meeting is scheduled for 6 o'clock is my understanding. We have notified anybody that's there if they want to be there to see it. I don't know if they will, but we will collect the bids at our office at 8:30 in the morning. I think it's 8:30, but we'll say Thursday morning though, based on the specifications we sent, we'll collect those. I will bring them to the meeting that night to open those bids up. And again, they're bidding the margin for them to provide us fuel based on Iowa DOT rack prices. So that's it, unless you guys have questions for me.
Have you made a decision on the excavator yet?
We did, yeah, that's a good point. So, we're looking at just where we're at with our budget cycle and different things like that. So, one area that we did, end up under this year was under, snow and, our snow budget, salt budget, snow removal. So there was some savings there, and then the overall budget, we had some room there, so we were able to fit that excavator in this fiscal year. It keeps me still under the numbers. There are 4 guidelines with the DOT or areas that we have to stay under. We can only go over 10% in any of those budget items, those 4 categories. And we are going to be fine with going ahead and paying for that out of this fiscal year. And then that just basically gives us more flexibility next year if something else would pop up, is what I would tell you. So.
Okay.
To go with that, we also received a reimbursement, majority of a reimbursement for Lexington, and that would have just came in on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday this week that we deposited that. So that's not reflected in what you're seeing there because that was all published beforehand. So again, that's another great example of when did these dollars come in and not come in, but they were budgeted that we were gonna have this project as a reimbursement. We just thought it would be next year. So our ending balance is looking really good. Starting for July 1, it's gonna be higher than what we were anticipating when we presented the budget, which is always a good thing when we're talking about, again, weather. Right now, some of these significant events happen, things could happen on our roads that aren't planned for, and that's where it's important for us to have some of that reserve there to work with to make repairs as they pop up as they're unforeseen. So that's a good thing. But yes, that's something we talked about.
Okay.
Excavator buckets have been returned.
Yes, they showed back up, thanks to Rich's office there. We obviously made some calls and got some stuff moving around, and they came back. I don't know any more details than that, other than they showed up missing. They were taken, removed on Saturday around noon, out in the middle of the day, and I think kind of was not on, I think the joke kind of was not on my bingo card that day to see that happen. But they did get back, and again, they were a substantial dollar amount, or estimated around 15,000 together for that. So that was something we weren't anticipating, and not something that we've seen before. So thanks to Rich's office on helping us get those back or through the process. They came back, and the public's help. I think we had a lot of calls through Facebook posts that the sheriff put out. People saying, we saw it, and we thought it looked normal because it looked like a contractor loading up stuff, and obviously they were not there, so they came back.
Wow.
Investigation continues.
That's why I said I don't know.
I was gonna ask you.
They showed back up, I guess.
No further comment.
Open case.
Yes.
I saw you doing some excavating the
Yeah, no, it's very important good news. I mean, that just happened that we had the extra bucket from the rental side of stuff when we were dealing with this process, and we were able to keep working, but yeah, that's an expense we didn't want to have, and we did get
Insurance claim we didn't wanna have.
Yep, that got canceled. We reported that back, so yeah. I'll say business as usual right now. So.
Great. Thank you very much.
Joe, did you send me something
Yeah, I did.
recent?
Yeah, this morning.
Yeah, next item of business is P and Z Administrator Joe Buffington on a motion to accept Camp Harlan Memorial property if offered.
I had contact from the Historical Society, and they're concerned with the sale of that property recently, about the future of the Camp Harlan Memorial. Next picture on there is actually of the memorial itself. I think they've been in this discussion with the property owner, and I think they basically want a commitment from the board that if they work this deal out, that the county will accept that. It's basically a 50 by 50 foot square, 2,500 square feet, which 90% of that's already in county right of way. The actual memorial itself is about the size of this room.
It's 15 and 15.
Yeah, it's pretty small, but they just want to make sure that it doesn't get removed in the future. That's the only way to really guarantee that is the Historical Society itself can't own property, so that's why the county would have to take possession of it. So they're just looking for a commitment that if the property owner wants to donate it, that the county will accept it.
Okay. And then who maintains it after that?
They're already maintaining it. They're just gonna continue. It's about a 10-minute weed eater job to keep it under control, but they're already maintaining the site as it is.
Should that be memorialized where that would always be the case, or is that best left in just a verbal agreement type thing with the historical people to maintain it?
Could be made part of the exchange as far as the gift and acceptance and like a contract. It'd be good to have it memorialized, of course.
The end result is we'll still be responsible for it in some form or another.
Right, if it doesn't get done, then, yeah,
We have to hire it done.
yeah, probably wouldn't be something be worth suing anybody over, it's a gift.
So we have we need a motion, then, is that what you're asking?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, yeah, so the offer has been made contingent on our acceptance.
Well, I know they discussed, I don't know if there's been any specific offer, but before they work it all out, they wanna know that, you know, ahead of time that you're gonna accept it.
So it wouldn't need to be a motion at this point, it would just be an understanding
There's
agreement.
nothing to go.
Well, I mean, I think the motion will put it in the minutes that they've agreed to that, I mean, otherwise it's not really a decision if they don't make a motion on it.
When you say they, are you talking
The
about?
board, the board.
Oh, I thought you were talking about historical preservation.
And he said we need a motion, so.
If you want to formally memorialize that you will accept, you could do that, if it's an understanding, you wouldn't. If they would,
Could a motion be that we would accept it if it is offered to us?
yes.
Contingent on.
That's why I put it in the agenda that way.
Am I hearing a motion being formulated there?
My motion would be if we are offered this piece of property, the board of supervisors would accept it.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, so the motion is that if this piece of property were to be gifted to the county, that we would accept that.
With the historical preservation taking charge.
Okay. Everybody in favor, clear on that first? Everybody in favor, verbal, or roll call vote on that?
White,
Yes.
Dietrich,
Yes.
Mindy.
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions what Camp Harlan is? Everybody know what Camp Harlan is?
There's a picture for
Yeah,
the
there's,
plus.
yeah, there's a picture I sent it, also the next thing on, that I sent you was the picture of the memorial.
Used to be the first.
Was in service for 2 years before it burned down.
You probably have to go back to your email and open it up separately.
Teamwork.
That's Courtney Street. Yeah. And
Yes, there it is.
No, it's not letting me, Joe. Anyway, everybody can.
Click on the picture itself, just double, there you go.
Right at the corner of the,
You got it now.
It seems likely that area's gonna become housing here and there. Some near future, but there's some major that doesn't get removed in the process.
Okay.
I will pass that on to the historical preservation to
okay.
continue with that.
Next item of business, it's listed under, or not listed under new business, but there's an issue with solutions conversation with, is it ProGov or GovPro?
Renew
Or Riga, I think
Re-
we go by Riga.
ReGov.
Riga or Riga, yeah.
Do we need to open that conversation at some point where we can talk about it, or?
Can we get an update from Gunner? He's probably
I can
more.
reach out to those people that I've always talked to in the past.
For solutions, so,
Renew Gov.
well, yeah, so for Riga, that's a solution by ISAC. That's in the works. I think it sounds like this year they're gonna start beta testing with some counties on its usability. But I'm not sure what the county's take is on moving away from solutions. I've gotten mixed reviews on what we wanna do. So the options right now that I've been given from solutions is a 1-year agreement or a 5-year agreement. And the 5-year agreement would give you a little bit better pricing over that 5-year term versus renewing year after year. So I think this year's increase, if we went with a one-year agreement, it's a 7% increase.
Again.
Where I think the 5 years close to 5% increase or something. It's lower. It's a lower increase year over year than it would be going year to year.
Well, 3%, it's 3 years in a row, it has gone up 7%. For 3 years now, every time.
So it's compounded, so. That gets a little pricey, but I think to your point, Robin, you're not very satisfied
happy
with
with it at all.
solutions at all, and I think there are probably some other
And
folks, but I think Gunner, you had some input and with the team.
Said mixed reviews on on the whole solution.
On solutions, yes, and I know, but again, I'm not sure where Regov comes into place, or if there's another vendor that has been discussed outside of my knowledge, but Regov, or, I know Tyler's another competitor, but I think a lot of people are having similar issues as they are with solutions.
Because there's just not a lot of availability of those service providers,
Governmental
right?
Yeah, there's
software.
just, it sounds like the two major players are Solutions and Tyler, and then Regov is potentially stepping into the scene later next year. So then it comes down to, if we're unhappy with our solution, are we wanting to commit to another 5 years? Or we want to commit to 1 year and see what Regov would have to offer at that point? That's
He's
where
pretty adamant there.
yeah, no, I would lead towards doing a 1 year agreement with Solutions right now and seeing how it goes. And then we can, talk with ISAC and Regov and get a demo of their product when it's ready and see if that's something we wanna work towards.
Quick question for you, Gunner. ISAC, are they involved with the Regov?
I think to some degree, yes, yeah.
That's the way I remember reading
Yeah.
some emails and asking questions.
And I talked to Andrew and Joel about that
Yeah.
before, and they said that that was their top two pick right now is Regov and, Tyler. And we've had Tyler before Solutions.
That's a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. But, and Solutions, which is / Harris,
Yes,
the ones that started that no longer are there. They're very smart people and they're part of Regov.
So they're,
And they were very good when I first came in.
yeah, a lot of the founders of the Solutions product, before it became acquired by Harris, are working with Regov, is my understanding.
And that's the reason why we also pay for a yearly fee, and I was gonna reach out to Mike on that to see where it's at for their support, helping us, because they still can get on to Solutions and help us through the process.
well, in my frame of mind, we don't work in that solution, we don't work in that realm. But those that do, I think, need to be voicing up and voicing their opinions as far as what they think about that, cause I don't have any experience with that system, Mark doesn't have any experience, Steve doesn't have any experience with that, so the people that do play within that system need to voice up and.
So this is the reason, like that 0, it should never been zeroed out. I don't know why it was zeroed out, because it should always be left there. Why all of a sudden is it zeroed out? They don't call you back until you call somebody else or maybe talk to another county. And then they must wait until it's done, because then they reach out to you, it's like, oh, do you need help? Nope, that was 3 weeks ago, and you know now it's done.
So I think to Gunner's point, as you look at this, the due date is 1 July, correct?
Yeah.
For the contract. Are we budgeted for $110,000 for this coming year for software?
Yeah, I think so. So what I did for our budget coming in essentially January, I did a modest 5% increase across the board for those items, because one, I know that hardware and software are only gonna go up in cost. No one offers you a 7% decrease on their software. So whatever we were budgeting for last year or this fiscal year, there's a 5% bump. So we're a little bit under on the solutions because they're at 7% increase. But I think I'm not too concerned right now that we'll be in the red on just that one line item.
Okay, so the other conversation we had was, obviously, we spent $50,000 on a server back in June of 25, correct? It's not been installed yet.
Yes.
So that $50,000 investment's still sitting there, but you're gonna get that installed, so what happens once?
Yeah, so
once we
got
make
the instructions from
transition?
Solutions on how they want that racked this month. We'll get that racked and put in place. What happens after the fact, if we go with a 1 year agreement?
Cause they're web-based, you said, right?
I think Regov is, yeah, if we go with Regov, I believe most of it's web-based. There would not be, the IBM server that's there would essentially not be in use anymore. So what happens to that equipment, I don't know, but it would not be needed.
Could that be used in any other aspect within county government then?
Potentially, IBM's a pretty niche system. I'm not too familiar using IBM servers or software, but that's not to say that it couldn't be used for some purpose.
Or some other county.
Or some other county might take advantage of that.
Just so everybody's aware of where we're at today.
So we need to sign, what you're recommending to us is to sign up for a year, and then come end of August, we all get together with these other providers
Yes.
and go, start.
My suggestion would be, unhappy with the software, which it sounds like a general consensus I've gotten is for the most part, there's issues. I would say if that's the case, to do a 1-year agreement and then assess what REGOV's gonna look like, and then we can determine, okay, this is a path forward that we wanna take, or that we wanna go, back, or keep solutions for a longer period of time.
Chief, did you have a comment? I just wanna point out that we use it for, as well. We use it for our inventory. We have a different program, that takes care of all of our inventory of pipes, different materials. We have not had issues with it. And so if we are switching, I don't know if the other company will be having that same program. So there could be some consequences on our end that we'd have to work through.
Well, we'll keep you in the loop with the IT folks, that's their big.
Yeah.
And your girls do the.
And we're not,
claims.
there's no point to trigger.
Yeah, we do all,
And the payroll. and stuff.
correct. So we have not had issues. I just, I mean, I'm sure there are hiccups, but I think overall we're satisfied with it on the road department side. But we may have to make that decision, and that's fine. It will have an impact out there.
Yeah, okay, well, that's a fair comment, so
Yeah.
we'll keep you in the loop on that.
It just seems like $108,000 or $110,000 yearly subscription.
So that doesn't cover just, there's other parts in there that we're getting, like some of our backup solution is baked into that number. I think that's about 30,000 of that number, of that full number.
It just seems like that kind of money, I mean.
Absolutely.
Service and support ought to be way up here. I mean,
And we're
it
not
ought to
getting
be
it,
up.
we're not getting that support.
Yeah, you've got a significant amount of money tied up into backup there.
Yeah.
Those last 3 lines. Fred, did you have a comment?
I just had a comment, as a member of the IT staff. I have 5+ years in enterprise resource planning management, software deployment, configuration and troubleshooting. And specifically, there's a lot that Solutions does that we can build out on our current infrastructure. But like Gunnar said, we need to look at the year plan and then we need to appraise other options.
So the beginning of that, he's talking about the ERP, which is Solutions. That's what he was talking about as the technical terminology for solutions. There's things we could build out on.
So you're essentially echoing what Gunnar said, a year look at, and then go from there.
Correct.
We did it last year too, just thinking about it,
Yeah.
to see what we were doing. We were trying to buy some time for the REGOV. And, they still weren't up yet. So I don't know if they are or not. I'll give you the guy's name. He's
I
very
don't- they're
good.
not-
And it's
Yeah.
hard to commit county funds on an R&D project.
I just want you to call them and see if they're up yet and then.
So, RenewGov is not up, but when we talked at ITAG, they were in beta, or going to be in beta potentially later this year. But that's all I know. There's no firm commitment, that was estimated
That's
timelines.
unfortunate.
So, and that's from Andrew and Joel.
It just seems it seems interesting that ISAC is even taking the lead on changing.
Yeah.
And so that tells me a lot.
Solutions used to be at the top and those people was with it. They were the number one.
To add on to that point, for public comment, enterprise resource management software is ever evolving. And 11 counties have already invested in REGOV per ISAC. They're going to be in beta this October or November if development goes as planned. And part of that, those counties that have already invested the time will get a sandbox that will allow them to manipulate their own data. And for the counties that have invested, that gives them an opportunity to learn and to grow with the software.
So the sandbox, you're meaning that they can design it for their own personal
They'll
fits.
take the
right?
software for REGOV, and they'll have an environment where they can have their data ported into it, but it doesn't affect their actual operations at the county, but they're playing with their own information to see how it comes out. So for example, they could run payroll in their production for staff, and then go and run payroll again in the sandbox and make sure that the solution is correct, that it's coming out the same way as it did. Whether they have Tyler Solutions or whoever they're using, they could do the same process in REGOV and say, okay, we're getting the same number, so it's calculated correctly.
I think it's safe to, say that we need to move this to an unfinished business for the next meeting, so we can actually take an action step on that.
So we'll look into it a little bit further.
That's my take on it, is that you guys,
And I think it'd be fair if you talk to like the treasurer's office as well, cause she uses, their office uses.
yeah, I think everybody that
We need to all talk
works
about it
within
and
that system.
make sure we're all in
has some-
agreement that there's just no help for support whatsoever. But we are paying that maintenance fee and the support fee when they don't answer.
It's all good as long as we remember there's a July 1 deadline, so we have a tendency to procrastinate around here.
But, I mean, it's not on the
Understand,
agenda, so we can't take an action,
I
right?
understand.
I just wanna make sure that we're all on the same
Yeah,
page. 'Cause
So we don't have to have a decision on changing by July 1, do we? Because we're gonna do one more year, right?
we have to renew a contract.
Yeah, and I'd say at the very least, we would at least
Yeah.
renew for 1 year, cause ReGov is currently not out and potentially in beta, it's not for certain in beta this year.
Yeah.
So we have to renew a contract and spend $110,000, so,
And plus,
so, to your point,
No immediate options right now.
not really. But to Chad's point, yeah, we can do that. You wanna do that on a motion or a resolution considering the dollars next week?
Say again.
Would you wanna do that as a motion or a resolution considering it's over $100,000?
Well, I think a resolution to spend that kind of money would be,
did Becky look at the agreement? Did you send it to her yet?
I have not said.
For her to take a look at it?
Yeah.
All those agreements, we always have the county attorney to look at those agreements.
sure, I would.
And then look it over and just let them know what you think about it, or,
I got the 1 year agreement this morning, cause I asked for it.
So if you'd forward that,
Yeah, I'll forward those on to Becky. Do you guys wanna see those too? Do you guys wanna see those, the supervisors?
if
Just a
the
quick
legal
review.
department says it's good, I don't,
Okay.
I'm not an attorney, I gotta rely on somebody else's opinion.
Kinda trust you and her.
Sure, okay.
Anything other under new business? Moving to unfinished business, item number 1, all space proposal for offices across the street. Review the layout, cost, discussion and motion on any changes needed based on needs for the county attorney, the juvenile offices over there, and then questions on timelines. And that also brings up anything more on all space?
I just pulled the proposal up again for across the street. Again, it just gets back to making some decisions here moving forward. I know that Becky wanted a wall move, but we also need to build a wall upstairs in the IT office. So, you guys are more familiar with that process than I am, but I think we need to coordinate that sooner than later. Other than that, there's just one minor change in a wall here, right? Or, I guess,
No, the other wall. So,
this one.
yeah,
But they moved that, so does that still matter to you?
that,
When I say they, I mean all space moves, the room configuration.
no,
So it
that
doesn't-
wall's not moved in that. Cause that office, I want to be the same size as the other two there at the front of the
You're talking this one.
building, yeah. Cause we will not have to have, juvenile court indicated they do not need to have a desk in the reception area, they will not have a person there.
Mhm.
So we can actually shift all of the desks to the right, essentially,
From where the cursor is now, that wall can be moved to the right.
yes. So we need to move that wall like there. Move that wall there, so increase the size of that third office. Cause if we have, and then, cause the office at the upper left, that large one actually has a long counter with a sink and a full-size refrigerator in there. So we can use that as a meeting space, and as a break room area.
Mhm.
Which would make more sense, that way we don't have to move plumbing, to move the sink out of there and move it into the room that we would want to be using for the break room.
Okay. So who needs to take the lead on who we
Yeah.
talk to from a construction standpoint? I've not been involved in that. Mark or Chad?
just gonna have a side door only.
Because again, we need to build a wall upstairs in the IT room to be able to close that in for fire suppression. And none of this can happen until we start moving the attorney's office to get things situated upstairs.
I've never served as a general contractor for anybody. I just haven't.
Yeah.
I can reach out, I'll volunteer to reach out to some building contractors to have them come in and give some ideas or what's the general thought here. I just want it to be known, I've never served as a general contractor.
Just for myself.
Just for myself.
Has Tyler worked with contractors for different things like this around the building? Would it be wise to get Tyler involved for some of that?
Most
Yeah,
likely,
I
I'd agree
would
with
be
that. Has he, Robin, do you know?
Huh?
Has Tyler been involved in any moves or any of that sort?
Never.
Right to my knowledge.
No, I take that back, it was our office. He moved us.
He's moving.
Maybe he just helped move stuff, okay.
Can we back up a bit? I wanna go to you, Gunnar.
Yeah.
And this all started from the idea of the supervisors needing more space and that you needed a suppression. What happens if we would change providers, go away from solutions? Would you still have a server that needed suppression?
Oh, yes.
Okay, cause
Yeah.
I've never been told that when you said we get rid of servers.
It would just be the solution, so there's a solution server, a backup for that,
Okay,
and then there's
okay,
other
that-
infrastructure that's tied just for the county that's not related to solutions.
Yeah, but the first thing we hadn't even addressed in my mind is the move of the supervisors. And that was the impetus of all of it.
Well, one of the two, yes.
Pardon?
One of the two drivers
No,
for
it
this.
was the driving force to begin with, completely. So I think we need to take it a little slower here and find out if we're doing it in the correct steps. And I don't know if we are right now.
Oh, I would argue that conversation. I think we had two primary goals when this all started. One was to move the supervisors, and number two was to take care of fire suppression, and I think they're equally important.
We had a primary goal. We had, agree with two, the suppression and the move of the supervisors, and that was it.
And I believe at one point, IT kind of explained the process. Maybe if you recall, you can go over that again as far as the order of moves and what makes sense to do first as far as the
So-
things that you would need to do.
So one option that was thrown out was you guys potentially would move to, emergency management. If that is the case, that can be independently done, because that doesn't affect the county attorneys, nothing with the IT room or anything like that. So if that needs to be accomplished first and you guys are satisfied with doing that, or if we need to look at more, that's fine. If you decide you're not moving to emergency management, but somewhere else in the courthouse, then we might wanna shuffle the move order. But essentially, the way I would see it as it stands now, if you guys move out to emergency management, we'd move you out there once we have all the, technical side set up for you guys to hook in, things like that. We would move,
Okay, at that point, hold on. Have you had an opportunity to look at the DOT lease agreement to see what the dates are that they could, send, that the DOT investigators out there could be? I've visited with their supervisors and they're aware that we're looking at office utilization and their offices may not be a priority for the county, so.
I have not gotten that far into it yet. I do not know.
Then going on, have you had discussions with the people here with juvenile probation? Has anybody had discussion with Troy Seeley, the chief probation officer for this district?
The probation officer?
He's over these people.
Oh. I have spoken with their supervisor. It wasn't Troy, yeah, and we've gotten the all clear with juvenile court services. They have discussed it and reported back that they're perfectly happy with it. The only thing they would need is one door put in to the office space. That and relocating their desks and everything to the offices they would be moving into. And they're wondering if they might be able to get any help as far as hauling desks down the hallway and that type of thing, to get them relocated or not. If not, they can work on arranging that, but if they would welcome help if they can. And then figuring out, of course, setting up the phones, moving all the phone systems. But they're good to go at any time.
You were checking out ports, right?
So, yes, but we'll need to do that with the juvenile courts IT.
Right.
Cause we're not authorized, nor would we just wanna start touching their equipment and finding things.
Understand,
So,
but that's in your camp.
that's in the
basically.
camp, and with, their IT staff being privatized, I'm not sure if that role specifically for their IT support's affected. But that might, depending on when we do this, I think, my understanding is they can either move on with this privatized company, or I think their last day is in August. So I've reached out and I'm just waiting to hear back, but that might throw a wrench in the procedure of moving, cause then we'd have to get authorization through, that private company if that's the case. But when I hear more, I'll let you know.
And at what point would you be able to move, out of that office upstairs to get the?
We would probably be,
fire
we would be the last people to move. Cause we would need to make sure everyone else has moved, there's ports and things to configure on the network to make sure you guys still have the same network access you had before. So we wouldn't worry about moving ourselves down or anywhere we go, until everyone else is solidified
Okay.
and working where they're at.
So for your safety sakes, as far as getting the other moves accomplished more expeditiously would actually be better for you as far as safety goes and issues with the fire suppression system and.
So the fire suppression system will be the last thing that we address. Just with how everyone has to move, we can't be in there when it's in there. So we get the wall, we could get the wall built in there, but again, there's enough equipment in there that I'd almost wanna wait to do that until we moved equipment out as well. But then you're talking about potentially having a contractor come in over there one day and potentially another time to do that instead of together. But we can work through that too if we need to shuffle things around, so.
You might wanna talk with Pete in the assessor's office, and see if he's have input on the contractor side of it, since he's, used to be a contractor.
got experience.
He's got some experience, he might be willing to impart some knowledge.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Thank you. So again, the whole point of this was to get some conversation here so we could make sure we all understand what needs to be done prior to a move, because there are obviously things that we need to do in advance. So we're probably looking minimum of a couple of months here.
I would say so.
And we have no cost estimate whatsoever yet.
Yeah, right there.
It's
So we're really not doing
But your
anything
guys'
major.
cost estimate
The only
for
thing we
all
don't have a
IT
cost
stuff.
estimate on would be moving a wall.
We have to get it.
Let's say we don't have the total
And
cost
you're still waiting for.
estimate.
No, but we have a good estimate. But once Chad gets in there, we'll have a better estimate. Talking with Pete to see where we're at. But again, the wall upstairs would tie into the whole move situation as well. Because that has to be airtight, so that's probably a little different.
Yeah, and I have, there's a company coming in tomorrow to do an assessment of that room for fire suppression, and then one next week.
But to Mark's point here, there's no real cost involved unless we're buying furniture. This is a very minimal move. And the dollars you see right here are talking about buying furniture.
What does that say? Can't read it.
$13,742. $730. There.
We'll be involved in that when they come.
Fire suppression?
Yeah.
Okay, tomorrow at 8:30.
Okay.
And again, it goes back to furniture. And if you buy the furniture, then they do away with the charge that they charge us $60 an hour or $65 an hour for Aaron's input here, which is,
Has that been, an attachment on the emails?
yeah, I sent it out about a week ago.
Okay.
But I can do it again.
No, I'll look for it, and I'll
No, I'll
pick it
send it
up.
out again.
If
That's
it's been
fine.
sent, it doesn't, normally doesn't disappear. I
Sometimes it
looked at
does.
that itemized part of it.
Hey Chad, just a curveball, I guess you'd say, or to be fair. You guys have met out at emergency management and you're planning on meeting out there the rest of this month.
Well, except for the 18th.
Well, yeah, right.
Don't want anybody to be confused here.
Have you guys looked, or again, just to be kind of fair with everything, about setting up the room upstairs and trying that room out for your meetings instead of emergency management? Because it's in the courthouse. And then depending on what you guys do with planning and zoning, if that isn't gonna be there, then this could be supervisors' offices. If there's gonna be no planning and zoning, if you will, and then you guys wouldn't have to move out to emergency management, DOT wouldn't have to move. I'm just throwing this out there for thought, you know, that way everything still stays in the courthouse as supervisors are looking at, you know. And I don't know, Rich might be able to tell this, but when you move, I don't know if prisoners can help move furniture.
If we have trustee prisoners, they can help do labor, yes. Currently, we have one. We have no cigarette butts and weeds in our flower beds.
But that's just, you know, to keep costs down, that might be an option to check into.
You bring up a good point, Walt, especially with having something that we're gonna discuss here a little bit later with Snyder. Why are we don't have all our information that we need to have before we make any other decisions.
Not that I'm trying to discourage you guys from coming out the emergency management building, but
Well, I think that's the whole point of having a couple more meetings out there, just to make sure everybody's comfortable with it, it's gonna meet our needs and where we're at from a broader perspective here.
so just give you an
At this
option.
point, personally, I'm not sold on it, so we'll see. That could change.
Well, I can say the same thing, that I'm not sold on what we're seeing either, so.
There you go.
So anything further on that?
No, you're gonna follow up, right, with Pete? And-
Yeah, I'll, that's a good idea. With Pete, maybe he would be interested in taking on a project like that, or maybe give some guidance or whatever. I'll have to feel that out and see where that goes.
Basket.
Yep. So yes, I will. Yes, ma'am.
Before you move on to the next item, I have a question. I should have asked it before you moved on from your new business portion. Are you gonna do anything about your resolution that's on your agenda for approval of your budget amendment? Or are you just gonna let it drop?
I think
Can you
they're
do
waiting
that?
till they talk to conservation.
We have a conversation with conservation.
Will that be during this meeting?
There will be a recess, a short recess after this, and then.
So you won't adjourn?
Because 11, I think, is when the conservation starts. So,
Okay, so you won't adjourn this meeting and you will take action on your amendment during this meeting, cause it's published on your agenda,
that's
so,
the goal anyway, so.
okay, thank you.
And I'll get with Pete, we'll go there. Anything further on that one?
No.
Schneider meeting, GIS conversation with the IT team. I've been in contact with, the representative. She will be here at 9 a.m., June 29, for a face-to-face discussion with all players involved. So,
June what, I'm sorry?
29.
29 at 9 a.m. So she said she would be here face to face. There will be a element of it, a Zoom connection, because she said some of her co-workers and experts in the field will only be able to get on board with an electronic Zoom meeting type thing. If that's the plan, I'd encourage anybody that has anything to do with GIS to be part of that. You know, come with suggestions, questions, whatever.
And I had a conversation with her also, and to reenact that last point, yes, she wants everybody that has anything to do with GIS here to discuss, and especially Brad and Gunnar too. Rich, you need to be here and all that. She said, more of the people that touch it. And she said, actually, she'd like to have all department heads here probably, because she said there's so many things that we are not even that Snyder is now giving them, it can happen, and we can do more. And they want to, reach out and show us all those other possibilities too.
Is that meeting
There's
here,
some new
Mr. Chairman?
programs they're having.
Here?
Yeah. Robin, would you be able to send a mass email out to all the department heads and anybody that touches the GIS and invite them to this meeting, June 29 at 9 a.m. here at the courthouse?
Mr. Chairman, may I suggest, and again, emergency management has the larger TV. I'm assuming she's gonna get on the computer and so everybody can see. Would that be a better option than trying for everybody to see on the?
It would
40
certainly
inch.
be a good option, that's for sure. I didn't, when I talked to her yesterday, I didn't know if there was any conflict with that.
According to my calendar, I don't have anything out there that morning, so.
Okay.
Might
And
just be a-
I mean, she's just driving to a location, she could drive
Right.
half a mile west and I'm sure be good with that, so.
To add to EMA's point, we could use either the big screen out of emergency management, or we could have everybody join with one of the meeting computers attached to the microphone and cast to a TV either upstairs or downstairs.
I like the emergency management classroom area.
Yep.
If it's available,
It is.
I'll reach out to her and confirm. That works for everybody? I don't wanna step on toes or anything, but that's good.
I also have another public comment. For those that aren't aware, GIS stands for Geospatial Information Systems. So it has a lot to do with your utility networks, your wastewater, your planning and zoning, as well as your fiber and interconnectivity to the internet. Geospatial information systems are very integral for economic development throughout the county. The software is very complex, but is something that we learned about quite a bit at the ITAG conference. And that's about it.
Good, thank you. So Robin, I'll be in touch with you to make sure that the EM bill is. Okay. Next item is contracts with non-governmental organizations. County Attorney Becky Wilson has been working on some agreements. And do you wish to unpack that at all, or?
For the 2080 agreements?
Yeah.
I have discussed with the Historical Society, their need to draft some 2080 agreements with some of the organizations that they donate money to or gift money to. I'm gonna get a rough template for them to use to kind of guide them in that process. And we've had a discussion over which ones they will need to have agreements with and which not. I have drafted and sent a 2080 agreement over for Main Street, Mount Pleasant. We've had a discussion with them already and they're reviewing it. They're going to present it to their board next week. So that one done. And there are a few others that I am in the process of, and we'll hope to get those sent out probably by early next week. So I believe with everyone that we need to have 2080 agreements with, they'll be drafted and sent out for their review, probably by the end of, well, by the middle of next week, hopefully. And then we'll just be waiting to get the signatures back, and then I'll need to get, the chairman's signature on them as well.
And I need a copy of this in my office as well, so when the state auditors come in, we write that to them.
Absolutely, yeah, I believe you signed them as well, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And just so it's addressed and it's, 2080 agreements, I believe, gotta be registered with Secretary of State.
Correct.
Should we make sure that we know who's doing that? Should the county do it?
Yes,
Or
they'll
should
probably send
we-
them. You do those, Robin?
Yeah, I just write them out.
Yeah.
Okay, just so we,
As soon as you guys approve it and we're all signed, I'll take it upstairs. Well, first off, I have to, when the minutes are approved, is that one of those ones when the minutes are approved? And then we put the publishing date down on it and then we send it to the state. It's a process. I'll take care of it though. We'll make
Yeah,
sure.
I believe just once, we don't actually have to send it with the minutes or anything, we just gotta
Okay,
file the 2080
So this
agreement
is something
itself
we
with the
do. Okay.
Secretary of State.
perfect.
And then every 2 years and odd numbered years, we'll need to,
There's an end date on them, right?
there's a report, they can automatically renew,
Okay,
but they would not end until either the organization we have the agreement with would file notification with the Secretary of State, or we could to end the
Okay.
agreement.
perfect.
As long as it's in effect, we'll need to file reports every odd numbered year to basically let the Secretary of State know that, yes, this is, agreement's still in place, yes, it's still active, we're still doing this.
And that's no different than what you do with your
That's correct.
2080s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like with our municipal 2080 agreements, we register those with SOS.
Great. Thank you. That'll keep us out of trouble, right?
Yes, that should get us out of trouble,
We'll stay out of the newspaper.
yes.
No.
Oh. What's on us, right?
You can sell paper that way.
Item number 4, Veterans Affairs. Committee members and Veteran Service Officer posting with HR. Do want to indicate that Jim Honorato, the chairman of the Veterans Affairs Commission, has sent a letter of recommendation for the appointment, recommending the appointment of 2 commissioners from, we had 4 different applications. The recommendation, I'll just read it, that historically that's the best way to do it, or just make the appointments.
Read what I wrote.
June 9, 2026, to Henry County Board of Supervisors, from Henry County Veterans Affairs Commissioners. Subject selection of 2 new commissioners. We had a commissioners meeting on June 9, 2026 at 4 p.m. The discussion was to make a selection from applications received on 2 new commissioners. After review of all applications and long discussion, it was decided that Jesse Howard and Robin Daniel would be selected for the Board of Commissioners. Thank you, James Honorato, Henry County Veterans Affairs Commissioner, President, signed and sent to us. Hearing that, would there be a motion for appointment?
Yeah, I would make a motion that we accept Jim's recommendations for Jesse Howard and Robin Ding.
Would there be a second?
There's a second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we will make a roll call vote.
Right,
Yes.
Dietrich,
Yes.
Lindy,
Yes. I think we need to note that the reason for the public is we're increasing this because of the legislation that passed.
Yeah.
So we need to have a 5-member board. From
And-
July 1.
And after this meeting, I will reach out to, President of the Commission, Honorato, and tell him that recommendation was taken, and I'll ask him if he wants me to call them, 2 men, and tell them, or if he wants to do that, but I'll make sure that they get notified of that, so. And the posting of the veteran service officers, I've shared with, from last meeting, I've shared with Jim also that he and his commission need to put together a public read sheet or an application, asking for applications for the service officer position. And I have not seen that yet, but I have put the bulletin board, that's kind of in their ballpark right now, to get that drafted and posted. Paul Groove services are available to them for HR expertise as needed, and that's on their ballpark right now. So. Is there anything further I need to do on that one?
I think just following up with Jim to make sure he gets that posted.
Yep.
We have to do that for 10
I'll
days.
do that with this other 2, so. P and Z, next item, number 5, P and Z board, reached out to several people for a resource person, so.
Yeah, so in conversation with Joe, he said that he was gonna leave that up to us, and we're making some initiatives to reach out to a variety of people to see who might be available to be on the P and Z board, since we've had a resignation there. So I have reached out to all of the surrounding communities to see if they have folks that they would recommend to us, as well as some people I know personally, and have reached out to half a dozen of those folks and still waiting to hear for confirmation. Haven't heard back from the communities yet, but I've heard back from a couple of people who have shown some interest and sent them some information to review and look over. So I'll follow up with that as we get a little more involved here.
So the vacancies are on the planning and zoning?
There is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just for clarification, that's the commission out of board.
Sorry, yeah, commission, yeah.
Just make it clear.
And is there any vacancies on the adjustment
No.
group?
None on the board there, okay.
And how many vacancies on the planning and zoning?
Just the
one.
one.
Just one, okay.
Yeah, so if you guys know of anyone either, feel free to reach out.
I'll
But I can give you a list of who I've talked to.
share with people. Joe, do you have anything else on that?
I don't have anything else.
Moving forward to committee updates. I'm first on the list. Tomorrow I have 2 committee meetings in Fairfield. One's the Crime Commission and the other one is the Juvenile Detention. If there's anything you men want me to bring forward to them or address with them, please share that with me so I know. If not, I will share with you what I learned at that meeting, so. But that's Friday in Fairfield, so. Mr. Dietrich?
I had a Russ meeting yesterday and we talked mostly about financials. We're moving all of the Russ monies from Midwest One and Fairfield to Pilot Grove Savings Bank, as well as moving I-8 funds to Pilot Grove Savings Bank. They're providing a better interest rate overall. The I-8 funds are about $1.3 million roughly, and running balance is about $900,000 with Russ. The bigger concern we had as we all talked, and this is a group of folks from 5 different counties, is that they're all seeing some movement on solar, battery energy storage systems, as well as data mining systems. I don't know if everybody's familiar with this or not, and I know that the Des Moines County Board of Supervisors was not familiar with this, but they have a data mining facility that just very recently moved in right down by Great River ethanol plant. Yeah, so nobody on the board was familiar with that until after it happened. So it's there, it's physically there, but there's lots of concerns on how that all came about. Right now, there's a proposal for one to go into Lee County, and the proposal is that it will be an open system, not a closed loop system, and they're gonna pump treated water back into the Jordan Aquifer, so that's a huge concern, obviously. The DNR is getting involved in it now as well, so there's lots of concern about what's going on, so we had a long conversation about that, especially with Bruce Hudson, because he's pretty familiar with that and does ordinancing work for Louisa County. So Scott Hunt from Louisa County was pretty concerned about what's happening, because obviously all they have in their area is sand points pretty much down along the river, so that would really impact them. So anything that they need would have to be a closed loop system rather than pumping water back into the ground, so a really major concern. And then everybody was a little concerned on it, so I sent them a copy of what Becky had put together for our moratorium, Becky and Joe. So they were all pretty appreciative to see that, and then I think a good number of those folks said they were gonna plan to come to our meeting on the 25th of June, to sit in and listen to our public meeting to get some more info, better information, and understand what we're doing.
You know, along with that, if I add on, I mean, I think Reed Charles can see that this is a snowballing issue all over the United States. Seems like Midwest essentially is probably more so. I know I've been kind of following some projects over in Ohio. I mean, they're just blossoming up everywhere. The noise pollution is substantial in a lot of people's opinion. The idea you know, with contamination of groundwater is just beyond silly. You know, that's water that we rely on for life. And, you know, introduction of trace amounts of heavy minerals and other contaminations into the ground source, that needs to be taken seriously and really thought about. So, I don't have the answers. I'm, you know, obviously not an engineer in that field, but we as the public, we need to really be aware of what's going on there. You know, we gotta think about, you know, are these just on skids? Are they on foundations that, you know, what actually do they do and what do they do to the community?
Yeah, to your
It's a
point.
big question.
Yeah, a couple things to your point. So everybody that's talking about it now is gonna try and create ordinances where it is a closed loop system, so they treat their own water. The other part of this is really kind of interesting. Since there are no people involved, other than somebody stopping in and check on it once in a blue moon, kind of like they do with cell towers. Some of the local folks are talking about putting a sewer need based on a site application. So that seems to be somewhat of a curtailing financial concern with citing applications for what we're talking about right now. Those are the two major things that seem to be slowing them down just a little bit, is a closed loop system for the water and the need for sewer systems.
Yeah.
Sewage, sanitation, treatment, whatever you want to say.
And is everybody aware what closed loop versus open loop is? I'd encourage everybody to read up on it, so you don't have to take my word for it. You can educate yourself on it. And yeah, I think you ought to read up on it. Anything more on that, Steve, from your end?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Mr. Lundin?
I had nothing.
Okay. Under other business, we need to discuss the picnic table. We talked about a picnic table being on county courthouse property. Tyler and I kind of walked around the idea. We come up with an idea under this shade locust tree down here that with the yellow ribbon around the corner. There's a nice flat area right there. Mid-morning, clear through the afternoon, there would be sunshade there for people to utilize for their lunch breaks or whatever the case be. It would be easy for Tyler to mow and move the table around and get off and move it over a mower width so he could mow around that. And, the idea would be to sink an anchor, a dead man anchor into the ground so the picnic table wouldn't walk away or get borrowed. We considered the west parking or the west lawn over here. I don't personally have a preference on anywhere except the front lawn. I think the north lawn of the courthouse ought to be exempt of any picnic table. I think it just should be. We have it over here, we have it back in here. I think there's plenty of shady areas there. And a picnic table isn't a real standout thing. I reached out to Caleb with conservation. The initial thought there was an available picnic table, so we wouldn't have to buy it. But then, talking with Caleb again, then it was found that table had been bent by a tree falling on it and would need retrofitted and rebuild a little bit. So, I guess if we wanna move forward, do we just spend the money with Prison Industries to see if they can build a picnic table, or just go buy a commercial one, or does somebody have a spare one laying around in their junk pile, or how do you want to proceed with that? So.
You're thinking, Mark?
Well, for myself, I have purchased, one that is, plastic and metal. So the upkeep is 0. And, if we have a wooden one, we'll have Tyler be doing maintenance and all the time on it.
I have a question. Is the area there under the locust tree, does it have any security cameras from the courthouse, just in case of vandalism?
I think it would probably be obscured by the majority. I haven't looked at the camera. It's right down here by tie the yellow ribbon around the old locust tree type thing down here, so. Oak tree, I said locust tree. But, yeah, I don't think it would be in view.
Yeah.
But that's why we would
Bolt it
have
down.
it tethered down to it,
so. I don't have a preference whether it's wood or metal, I just think if we're gonna do it, we should probably do it so folks can enjoy it for the summer. Kind of the whole purpose, right?
Gunnar, do you know who, from being the last prison employee out there, do you know who is kind of working?
I'm glad you clarified employee.
I was thinking.
I knew you did time and everything.
Yeah.
I wanted to say you did it as an employee.
Yeah, Tony Kemker, I think he's still the guy that kind of heads up that department that we could ask. I don't know that it's specifically IPI Industries, but that would be Mount Pleasant Correctional Facility.
Do they build them on site?
I think they do. I know they have a wood shop out there, and they've done some stuff internally. I'm not sure the scope of stuff they've done for other government entities or things like that, but it doesn't hurt to ask, and it'd probably be cheaper than having an outside company build it or something like that.
Tony used to work at Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
And he does all the woodwork stuff out there now.
Yep.
So he does good stuff.
Then Mark, do you know the brand what you got or anything where somebody could look at that for evaluation?
One I had was a number of years ago from Orscheln, so that's all I know.
So we can
I
ask
don't know if
Tony
we still
though.
have them out there or not.
We could ask Tony if he would do a wood or a composite, we'll see where we're at.
Just for public comment, I know Tony pretty well, so I could take a lead on that.
Okay, I'll, give me his contact
I will.
and then I'll handle that part of it, so.
Sounds good.
So that's where we're at on the picnic table. Under public comments, I would like to ask anybody that has any public comment, and the emphasis for this was, I've had a number of people call me at home and been watching videos and say, hey, who was the guy that spoke right then? And it's like, I don't know who you're talking about. I'll have to look back and see. So if you do have a public comment, I ask that you identify yourself by name as far as, that way people know who is making comments. So, public comments?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I have a couple things that I asked to get on the agenda for today, 2 weeks ago, but neither one's an action item. So the first one is just a comment about the new deputy sheriff, Michael Patzner. Formerly worked at another entity, and he was under contract with them, and we purchased his contract out. We've already sent the invoice up to the auditor's office to take care of, but I wanted to be transparent. The first year for a deputy sheriff, if they are non-certified, is usually about $100,000 for the year to get them through the academy and to pay their wage. We purchased his contract from Fairfield, the city of Fairfield, for $23,531. So I think we saved about $75,000 and about 9 months worth of training. Just letting you guys know about that. The other one is, as you know, we hold inmates for other counties, and Polk County has recently reached out to me asking for a memorandum of understanding. And I've brought that memorandum of understanding today to get a signature from the chairman of the board, if I could please. I have reviewed the 28E or the 20 memorandum of understanding with Becky's office, and just need a signature from Chad on that, please.
You men want to look at that?
Essentially, that agreement's just saying they're gonna bring inmates to us, we're gonna take care of them like they would take care of them, and they're gonna pay us a per diem to do so, and we're gonna be compliant with state and federal laws.
Are there any numbers that tied to it, or is
No.
it just open-ended?
It's open-ended, yep. So if our per diem costs change, that's not part of that agreement.
Becky, you've ran through it and all is good?
Yeah.
Thank you.
It doesn't state the dollar.
No, it's not, no. It's just saying we'll take care of their inmates when they're in our custody.
No way they can back against this anyway.
No.
As long as Becky says it's good, it's good.
So I mean, if we say it costs us $10 and they only wanna pay $5,
That's tough tooties.
they gotta go with what.
Our
what
laws
rate
are,
is.
yeah.
I told Rich we'd take care of them if they're there, so
Yeah.
we're not gonna leave anybody hungry and.
Thank you.
Like the blue pens?
I do.
You guys,
It
all right with my
delineates
signature on this?
from
I am.
copy pretty fast.
Use a color copier.
Correct. That's true.
Have to feel for the imprint on the back of the paper.
Yes. Thank you, sir. And that's all I have for your public comments. Thank you.
Is that black ink?
That's blue. It's OCD blue.
Anything else? And I had, yeah. Stop.
Yeah, Bob Echeck. I think last week or 2 weeks ago, I brought it up about the city of Cedar Rapids was proposing and initiating putting treated water back into the Jordan. And some people thought I was a little off on that. They said, well, look at Davenport. They treat their sewage and it goes back in the river down to Burlington. Well, that's all fine and dandy. Supposedly, but I don't drink anything out of Davenport or Burlington. We got to take this really serious, though. I think we need to mandate closed loop systems. It's got to be.
For public comment, as a resident of Henry County for 3 years and an employee.
Say, go ahead and give your name.
My name is Brad Babry. I've been a resident of Henry County for 3 years. And I think it's important to clarify open versus closed loop systems. And I commend all of the members of the board and county employees that got ahead of the ball on the moratorium, because we borrowed a lot of language from Clinton County, and Clinton County's city council just rejected their moratorium, 2 votes to 5. Yeah. And as a resident of Henry County and somewhat a computer scientist / systems administrator, it's something I take very seriously.
Melanie?
A couple questions. One on the P&Z Commission opening. Oh, sorry, Melanie Patton. Can we have a posting to go on the website as we've done on the other commission openings and explain briefly what that is for people that don't know that might want to apply? Just knowing that we got a huge response on many of the other commission openings, I think it's important to have it posted on the website. I had another question. What was that? I forget. There was 2. Thank you. Oh, yes, I know. On the meeting on the 25th, we need to have parameters as well. As far as I know, you said last week that it would be just an open discussion, but are there going to be, Steve mentioned that people are coming from other counties. Like, are you just expecting the public to have watched the video and know about this? Or is there going to be some press release about it or way to notify the public? I mean, I'll be happy to notify the public, but I think you guys need to have parameters on what this meeting's going to look like. And are you inviting anybody that's an expert, or this is just people bringing you articles? I'm just asking, what is this going to look like? People giving their opinions, people, I don't know. See what I'm saying?
My vision is this is to hear from the citizens of Henry County.
Okay.
I don't think anybody will be engineers or geologists or anything like that, but I personally wanna, and I can't speak for the other kids, I wanna hear from the citizens of their concerns.
Okay.
I'm not expecting them to say, okay, they're gonna be dumping 3 million parts per million, of ABC into the system. I wanna hear what their thoughts are, what their desire is for the community in relation to these projects.
So you're assuming that the public is educated on what these are?
I don't assume, I try not to do that.
Okay, but I'm just saying that most of the,
I'm asking the
what I'm saying?
people that are interested in the meeting to come and share their concerns, not try to convince me with statistics and scientific articles, but just, hey, as a citizen, this is a concern of mine. This is a concern of mine. And this is at the very beginning stages of it. That's my take. These men may have other ideas. So. Guys, do you have any?
I'm glad you brought it up first of all. I think it's a very valid point, and I agree with Chad. I think it's just getting people saying, I want something more than I just don't want it. That's what.
That's why I'm asking, is what are you expecting people to say?
Some reasoning behind their statement.
So I'm afraid that you're going to get a lot of people that are going to come and say, we don't want this, but they don't understand anything about them. So you're expecting the people to do the research and present you articles or facts or...
At this meeting, I'm expecting people to come and share what their concerns are.
Okay, so if I come and I say, I don't want to hear it, I don't want to see it, I'm concerned with the water, then what are you going to do with that?
Give me reasons why, what is a concern to you? You're not a scientist, so I don't expect you to give me scientific explanation, but I want you to share what your concerns are, because likely.
So my concerns are the water use, the sound, and the electricity usage. So do I need to have, you're expecting me to have data, because you're saying you don't expect us to be scientists, but you don't want us to just say what our concerns are. So my point is I think you need to set some expectations and communicate those to the public for this meeting, because if you just say you're having a general meeting, nobody knows what to expect.
I think if they're watching anything, they can expect to come and say, hey, as a rural county resident.
Any county resident.
Yeah.
Living north of.
Any county
north of wherever, or living in downtown Mount Pleasant, I'm a county resident. This is a concern for county of Henry.
Okay. So how are you going to communicate that to the public?
Well, they've been on video here. They can look at the agendas and be informed on that. Word of mouth, I don't know. I'm not opposed to giving a radio story out. I'm not opposed to that.
So like what do we had, the discussions on the wind turbines? And I came,
Hold that thought. Mark, were you finished with yours, Steve?
Yeah, what I was just gonna say to everybody's point here, we can probably make a public service announcement through the media and put some information out there and reference the moratorium, and then we can, I think Melanie's point is valid here. I don't want somebody rambling for 15 minutes just because they don't like it, so I think we should either decide amongst ourselves whether we do a sign up and what the parameters are about how long they're gonna speak. Because that's just more polite and courteous to everyone there, otherwise we'll be there for midnight and everybody may not get an opportunity to speak.
And you weren't part of the original on the wind energy. We hosted the public meeting in the old hall up there, and that was kind of the initial area or location or time for public sentiment to be expressed. So I think this is kind of that same type of thing. You know?
Okay, well, I just want to make sure that this is talked about ahead of time, because we've had other meetings where the public isn't aware, they either don't show up or they don't know what to expect when they come, so I think we need to be letting them know now, because it's 2 weeks away, so if people need to have more concrete information to share versus just a blanket statement of, I don't want this, or whatever, so, thank you.
So yeah, I think we need to work on a public service announcement that we can get out and make sure everybody's aware of it, and at least give them an opportunity to understand what we're doing.
And I'd just like to make a comment publicly as well. Obviously, we're a news station, so we're reporting information and sharing that with the public. But for something like this, it wouldn't be unheard of for you to do a little marketing and
Yes.
put a little investment into it, so you can guarantee what you're wanting to put out. So I just like to throw that out there, that yes, we're a news station, but we can also help spread the word in other ways. And you might want to consider that.
Thank you.
So basically, you're seeing people can come and say, I don't like the looks of it, the sound of it, the feel of it, but you don't want them to come like we did to the wind turbine meetings with research that we had done, like the European Wind Academy. You don't want us to come with that information?
I want you to come and explain, this is a concern. You know, we have noise pollution because it's obviously out there. There's concerns with groundwater contamination because it's obviously out there. All the different concerns, I think, need to be shared up with us. That way we can start looking into those areas of concern, you know.
But not present any facts as to what support your concern.
Well,
It's basically what you're saying.
I mean,
No, I think if you have documented facts, I think make some copies, give them.
yeah,
to us.
if there's documentable studies and facts and things like that, that's one thing, but just saying, well, I think there's this going on, have some study.
Okay,
Show why that is a concern.
okay, so you will allow us to bring in some studies then?
Yeah.
Okay, you were indicating not at first.
No, I just don't want somebody to come in and say, you know, well, I've heard this and I've heard that. Well, I've heard that there's Martians flying around too. I mean, we wanna have some studies about things. So we wanna have what the concerns are.
Okay, so follow up on that, we need to work on
Public service,
some kind of announcement, working through this with, the media.
because I
Figure
think
this
I think it's very important to get that information out and let people be aware of what's going on.
Along with that, was it determined if the Planning and Zoning Commission would be notified then about this going on?
They are absolutely gonna be notified.
Okay.
Unequivocally. Now, whether they attend or not, it's another
Right.
story, but.
Yes, I just want to make sure they're aware. Thank you.
Leland Graver.
Thank you.
Okay, just a quick reminder, what the former county attorney has done was calculated, mean-spirited, and self-serving. Don't let him get away with it, hold him accountable. Okay, here's a heads up for you guys. I've been in conversation with a friend about the possibility of maybe entering into a partnership and forming a nonprofit for the benefit of all residents of our county. We might name it Back Roads Henry County. Current numbers: Henry County population 19,330, Mount Pleasant population 8,312. Only 43% of the people live in Mount Pleasant. We will serve Coppic, Hillsboro, Lowell, Mount Union, New London, Olds, Rome, Salem, Swedesburg, Crenton, Wayland, Westwood, Winfield, Mount Pleasant, and all rural areas. Our mission will be to control the out-of-control population of raccoons. If you drive about, you'll see dead coons all along the road. They cause accidents, vehicle damage, especially dangerous to motorcycles. They can cause our insurance premiums to increase. They harbor in abandoned buildings, old vehicles, vacant lots, barns. They defecate in the yards where kids play, gardens where they grow food. They eat fruits and vegetables. They climb electric poles and get into the cables, causing power outages. They climb trees and rob bird nests. They can carry rabies and be a threat to humans, livestock, and pets. They get into trash cans, chicken coops, eat eggs, they rob pheasant and turkey nests. Coons are no longer trapped or hunted since the demand for coonskin caps seriously declined when Davy Crockett lost the Alamo. We plan to work with a local conservation officer that I'm on friendly terms with. Our plan is not to catch, neuter, and release, but rather capture, deactivate, and dispose. The two of us can scrape up enough funds for traps, bait, and a couple vehicles. We'll provide a specific service, a contract expense favorable to all county residents. But we need taxpayer funding for wages and a few employees, attorney fees, permits, etc. If we're able to put this together, we will pay ourselves very well and initially hire 3 or 4 others. We believe our service has incredible potential to grow and provide even more jobs. We are open to a 28E agreement. We expect in a few short years to justify a request for as much as perhaps $1 million taxpayer dollars. We want to become the county's nonprofit that receives the largest taxpayer subsidy. We expect the same courteous consideration and funding opportunities others have received. We're thinking between $15,000 and $50,000 for the first year. Keep us on your potential priority list. We may come back for our share of public funding, and we expect equal opportunity. That's all, and you're welcome.
Thank you. Any further public comments? Hearing none, I would.
I have one thing.
I'm sorry.
I have one thing I need to do first.
You through there? Make a recess.
You want to go to recess.
Leland, I talked to the county attorney and with her advice, said I cannot accept this because of the funding. It's a gift greater than $3.
No, it isn't. I didn't pay for it.
Well, I cannot accept it. Thank you.
It's the value amount. It's value.
It's not related to the county, okay?
But it's a gift as a public official, so I can't accept it.
But thank you.
I'm
Nice.
calling a 5-minute recess.